Hey everybody, welcome back to Roadside Nuggets. How's everybody doing today? It's been a pretty heavy day for me personally here, so I'm not sure how everyone else's experience is going. However, we're gonna get through it, right? Just give me one moment, trying to find the comments real quick. So yeah, how is everybody doing out there? Usually a lot sooner in live streams than this then, but it's been actually a pretty long mission day today. There's a lot going on, so yeah, here we are. um, Definitely the message that the angels and mom definitely want to push forward and share about more today is really the truth, that's hiding in plain sight, that so many people are just bypassing, mainly all of us in so many ways, and we're just completely blind to it. And God is in plain sight, all moments, all the time, no matter what. And a lot of times, most of the time, 100% of the time, it is us, it is humanity who's catching up late to the party, and thus we are the ones that are late to the awareness. Meaning God's already aware, God already took care of it, God already planned for it. It's really our own anxiety and out of time placement where we are creating all this unnecessary extra dysfunction where it's not needed. It doesn't even exist. Yet so much of our energy goes into that in an alternate timeline that does again not exist. And yet the one that's right here in front of us, in front of our face, that God has prepared for us in every moment, that is the moment that does not get all of our energy. That's not all your focus. That's not where you're living at. You're living in the past, hoping for the future, and trying to hold on tight until you arrive somewhere where it looks familiar to what you've chosen, and it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, humanity. Those are for Hollywood movies. Like, those are, make believe fabrications of a reality that just will not come to pass, because everything that leads to that is through suffering. It's through attachments and sorrow and heartbreak and things. And we don't need those to be a part of our new experience, to what we are evolving into, what we are manifesting for ourselves further, in this reality. So we are having a complete sweep of the board, wiped completely clean, and mom is allowing us this new view, new perspective, where we witness the things that we have attached and controlled completely disappear, be pulled from our grips. And in this, we realize how much of us we put into this, because it creates so much catastrophe in the middle of that transition. The fear, the attachment, the projection, the blame, the betrayal, the hurt, the fear, down to the rage and the anger, the core of it. And that's where we get stuck at. We won't let go. We'll get stuck there forever, for years, and we'll blame the world, we'll blame society for why we are living the way we're living, where we are, how we have become whoever we are. And it literally, ultimately, most of the time, is not focused on ourselves, not looking at what we have chosen, thus to this point, to bring us to this realization, this life, this experience you're living and breathing right now. So who is responsible for this? Who walked your two beautiful feet to this moment? You did. So it does not matter how it transpires and how it goes about and manifests itself. Ultimately, we still have full accountability, right? And that's definitely been, I feel it's a topic for everyone, for the collective, but that's kind of been, where I've been surfing the etheric through the depths of those energies lately. And it is a lot of letting go. It is a lot of forgiveness. It is a lot of embracing just the experience itself, even if you don't realize or understand or know now what it's meant for. What is it supposed to teach you? How it's supposed to help you heal? What is it doing for you? A lot of these things you're going to have to trust. You're going to have faith, and still take a step forward, and another one, and another one. And a moment will arrive when you realize, when you put it all together, where you connect the dots, where you fully see the truth. However, that's not owed to you from the very beginning. You are God in the flesh and a reflection of her grand self. You don't play it easy. You don't accept easy. That's why it's bored to you. That's why you're exhausted. And that's why you know there's so much more waiting for you soon. And you got to push for it. You got to open up and you really got to live for it. But it requires you to know what you're working with. What are your limits you're at now? Because you have none, but you've told yourself you have limits. The world has told you you have limits. So what are your limits? So we can get those out the way and dissolve those. So we really truly have nothing but the sky to look at. It's an intriguing proposition, I would say. Most of us would say. The ones who are aware and who are awake and quite done with this 3D, mundane reality that does not serve us, does not represent humanity or God in the slightest. Of where we are, what we choose for ourselves right now, and just how over we are with the dysfunction of this planet and the war. Isn't everybody ready for love? To take care of each other, to be there, for each other. Isn't that what everyone's been looking for? Isn't that what everyone's been seeking their whole life? For love. For truth of who they are and why they're even here. It doesn't matter what job you have. It doesn't matter how many children you have. It doesn't matter how many relationships you get into. Doesn't matter how many times you move. Doesn't matter how many times you change your car. Doesn't matter how many times you change your wardrobe. You are still just as you were from the very beginning. And all the lies you've told yourself, yeah. It's time to come clean. It's time to accept what you've told yourself for so long that is not true. And the only way that's going to happen is if you face it. Ding. You're going to have to face yourself. You're going to have to look deeply at these things that you have perpetuated and you have allowed because you thought they sustained you. You thought they allowed you distractions and a way out of things you didn't want to face. But those very things that you didn't want to face are at your door right now. They didn't go away. And those same things that you didn't want to face, that you have spent years and so much energy and trying to get away from and trying to deny and trying to hide. All of it. Wasted energy. Giving it to a black hole void, a lie that you told yourself. You accepted yourself. And now the debt's up. Somebody has to pay. And you don't want it to be you. And it is. It's time to come back into equal energy exchange. And the most uncomfortable part about this whole process is beings realizing how down to a T equal energy exchange actually is. And for themselves, what they allow. And what they have embraced and perpetuated and lived on and on through their lives doing. Every single moment is aware to creation, to God. And all those same moments need to be given back in equal energy exchange. And this is not punishment. This is not paying for your crimes. Because the entire process through now working your way back to your center self and equaling that energy exchange, as much how deep you've gone into the dysfunction, you must equal that same energetic working your way out. But it's going to teach you who you are. It's going to show you who you are. It's going to help you find your path, your way, and why you're even here. See, all the things you've been asking, you've been searching for, spending all this extra energy and time and moments down black holes and things that don't exist, seeking these very simple yet massively big questions. If you just surrender, if you allow the journey and stop trying to get there so fast and feel into what is actually showing you, they're all the answers you're looking for. They're just not going to show up the way you want them to. It's not going to be a piece of paper that's shoved in front of your face with bullet dots all the way down the page. Fact, 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 fact. It's not going to happen that way. Because you're more than just a piece of paper. You're more than black and white words. Don't you feel so? So why, in finding the truth of your entire self, which is so massive and huge and such a big question, it's taken your whole life to answer and you still don't have the truth? Why then would you settle for the bare minimum? Just to know who you are? What's my identity? Why am I here? Do you feel it's that simple? Do you feel it's that small you can hold in your hands? The purpose of why your soul exists and why you're here in this moment. And yet that's what everyone's looking for. A quick buck, a quick pass, on demand, inconvenience, right now, give it to me. Why am I here? Yet they won't do the uncomfortable thing and go ask themselves that same question, looking in their eyes in the mirror at home. Because all the thoughts and the feelings that start to come in from that simple question scares the shit out of so many people. It did me in the beginning. When you actually start to slow down enough to realize how much moments, how many moments, thank you, how many moments have sped by and you haven't been paying attention. You've gotten older, ding. You've settled for time. You've sold yourself to a world, an idea, and an agenda that never was your own from the beginning. It did not give you peace. It wasn't what you dreamed of. It's not the reason why you get up every day and breathe. Yet, that is what you tell yourself every day. It's just another day. Just got to get by. Just got to get through this. Tomorrow will be better. And this age-long drive that you push yourself on, continuously trying to reach something, trying to arrive somewhere to an answer because of a question that started this journey a long time ago, that nobody seems to be able to help you understand or find the answer to. And everywhere you look outside yourself, it just does not connect. It doesn't make sense. Because you're supposed to be looking inside. You're supposed to be following this. You're supposed to be feeling your heart. That is the compass. That is the guide. That is the voice. The rhythm, the beat of life that you follow. And so many people on this planet are not listening. These deeper things everybody wonders about at some point. And many literally go mad, insane, completely, trying to discover the very truth to this massive question that everybody on this planet has. Yet anybody that makes strides towards that truth and the awareness of that, to excavate that complete, beautiful enlightenment of what it truly is, they're demeaned, disgraced, mocked, debunked, called a whistleblower, conspiracy theorist, activist in so many different ways. You just have to put it as something, don't you? Because you just can't admit how long you've been looking to find that answer. And you're pissed because someone else has actually done the work. Someone else is actually doing something about it and not sitting in this miserable, awful nightmare. Taking pill after pill every day. Telling themselves it's going to be okay. Tomorrow will be better. They're pissed there's actual people that are not going to sit there and do that to themselves. And actually go out there and wonder, find out. Not worried about time, not worried about how old they are, not worried about how much they've got left. Because at the pinnacle of it all, doesn't this answer supersede everything? Doesn't this answer outweigh everything in life? Yet somewhere, many of us have gotten lost. We've fallen into distraction and smaller things that completely are not worthy of the light and divinity that we are. What we've got tired, we've gotten lost, we've gotten broken down, just gave up. And so the more downplayed things seemed a little bit better. Because it was easy, because it was right there, because it was in your face, you could just reach out and grab it, and that was enough reason to stop. Stop searching for yourself, stop finding yourself. Oh, well, I got a family, I've got children. Oh, I got a good job. Well, look at my age. I'm not the young rooster I used to be. All lies. A continual lie we will tell ourselves all the way through life until we're on our deathbed, of why we didn't look, of why we didn't ponder for a moment and reach out to see what we would find. To actually step out that door and go after that in life instead of what everyone else is telling us to do. Now that's scary to a lot of people. Why? Because they've waited so long. They're afraid they waited too late. They waited too much, too long. It's too late. It's gone. Look at me, I'm 80 years old. My children are already grown up. They have their children. I'm a great grandpa. I'm a great grandma now. What can I do? So much is given to the external world in a lie that we continuously feed ourselves over and over and over again like it's a daily course meal. And it makes us sadder. It makes your soul sadder. It just makes you just fall deeper and deeper into this thick muck, as if it really is too late, as if you waited too long, as if you had all those moments and those opportunities, those chances, and you didn't make them, so it's gone. And you're just you, and you're just here, and everybody else is there. Does that sound so familiar? It is, because it's the dysfunction everyone's stuck in. And it's a lie, Dean. It's one of the biggest lies. To subject and identify yourself with a linear time, and then get to a certain point after all your ambitions and your dreaming and your hopes, just to crush them yourself and tell yourself it's too late. Oh, well, this now, and this. And meanwhile, your soul is just completely suffocated after you keep stuffing and stuffing more bullshit down your throat. Because you know what you're doing. And your soul knows what you're doing to it too. And it's so sad that you won't give yourself a chance. You won't give yourself that opportunity to love yourself and see what happens. Sad, isn't it? Yet if you look out your window, billions and billions of people are doing it every single moment. And no one's saying anything. No one's reaching out. No one's being a better human being. No one's being a better example. It's like, oh, well, look at everyone else. They're doing it. So what? Why not? Just let it be. Everyone else is just going to keep doing it no matter what. You can't tell them anything. It's like this perpetual bullshit lie that cowards keep telling themselves, because a coward is not stupid. Let's go into that. Cowardice. A coward isn't a fool. A coward knows what's at stake. A coward is quite intellectual in many moments and smart. Knows what can be lost, knows what's on the table. Very logical, very analytical as well. Very calculated. So when we talk about cowardice, we're not talking about just unconscious, ignorant, just completely just dumbfounded, stupid. No. Talking about beings that are quite aware of what I'm saying out of my mouth right now, Yet those same beings won't step forward, won't step up, won't expand, won't embody more divinity, won't push themselves past what they can define themselves as their box, their limitations. That's cowardice. Because you know what you're doing, and your soul knows what you're doing too. So feel that for a moment. And don't take it personally. Billions and billions and billions of people on this planet, or in those frequencies, any given moment. It's just something to be aware of, because we got to stop that. And we got to be brave and have courage and say the things that maybe not other people want to say, and show and be the example of things for others to understand and learn from that maybe they would never have the balls in a million years to do. And you have to. Because if you don't, you truly understanding what's at stake, you truly understanding what needs to be expressed and moved forward, now it is you stepping back from that plate. Coward. See, that's much deeper than people that just don't understand what's going on. It's a very different picture. And we have to learn how to really love ourselves and push ourselves to the inspiration, the motivation to really get our passion going to where we can stand up. And we have something to speak. And we have something to say, and we'll say it. At any moment when we feel that ping from the angels, from mom, your higher self, which in many moments can be so instantaneous, it can be every moment. You can live the higher self every moment if you choose that. And then again, that's just the choices. And we have to let go of everything that's holding us back, everything that we have told ourselves, the lies, absolutely everything that we don't know better. We don't know shit. Yet we've been berating ourselves and chastising and, belittling ourselves even so many times over, trying to compress ourselves into a smaller summary so that it's just easier to sell, easier to get by, easier to deal with, easier for people to accept. And it's just like, do you feel happy? Do you feel happy at all? Honestly, answer that.
I'm Dory. I suffer from short-term memory loss.
Yes! That's exactly what you say.
You gotta put your past behind you. Look, kid, bad things happen, and you can't do anything about it, right?
Right.
Wrong! When the world turns its back on you, you turn your back on the world.
Joy was stuck down here. We might as well be on another planet.
Wally!
I can't believe you. There is no way you could go that I won't be with you.
When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. Who's your friend who likes to play?
His rocket makes you yell, hooray!
You must not let anyone define your limits because of where you come from. Your only limit is your soul.
All it takes is faith and trust.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody
gets left behind
or forgotten.
Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present.
And that is why it is called the present, And if we could just slow down, more moments. It's crazy. It looks like there's like a cloud in this room right now. Like, that's really weird. Like, the lights really just like everything. It's like this weird smoky film that just got in here. It's crazy. Angel stuffies. Really slowing ourselves down. in embracing the bigger questions that are asked the least in a lifetime. Yet it's on everybody's heart and everyone's thoughts. Where are they going? What are they doing? How long do I have? And ultimately, we will ask these questions to ourselves because there's ultimately something we are still wanting to find in the parameters of those different other questions that define how long we have, where are we going, what will we be doing. The actual base core questions of human life, of who we are, that's truly what we're still after. And you'll find it so odd that we hardly speak a word of it. We don't say those things out loud. It's such a big question. It's so scary. There's so much involved. I don't know what to do with that. Do you? So everybody will put it on a shelf. We'll put it on layaway. We'll put it on the back burner. We'll come back around in 5 years. We'll see what we've got at that point. See what we've learned, what we've acquired in our journeys till then. You see, it's these questions we play with ourselves. Long moments to where we think it's going to be like a game of tag. I'll see you in 5 years. I'll see you in 10 years. See you in 30. See you in 60. That's what we tell ourselves. That's what you're telling your soul. Not right now. Maybe in 5 years. Not right now. Maybe in 20. Try me in 80 years if I get there that long. And we'll see about it. You know how much you abandon yourself? You know how much you walk out on yourself every damn time? It's time to call yourself out and be real. How little of a significance you put into yourself to where you don't spend time on yourself at all. You don't invest anything in yourself at all. It's all going to everything else, everyone else. Yet your heart is breaking the entire journey through because you're not finding what you're looking for. You don't feel like anyone will help you. Yet you're constantly distracted and focused on everything outside yourself that has nothing to do with the original question. Who are you? And so you've lived a life of suffering solely to come to the point in realizing that you went the wrong way. And that's hard on you. It is. But you have to accept it because you have to turn around. You have to go a different way because the one you chose is not working out for you. And you know this. It's just the stubborn you that wants to prove a point, that wants to be right, that wants to challenge God herself, that you think you can do it. You think you'll make it. If time actually was linear, for a moment, for all of you masters out there that can entertain an idea without attaching to it, if time literally was linear, and we really were going forward one way, if you turned around and looked where you came from, in all those 5, 10, 20, 30, 60 years, did you ever find it? No. So who are you kidding at this point? Who are you playing the game with? Who are you playing the fool for? Because you know what you're doing, and you're too scared to admit it. Coward. You won't show up for yourself because you understand at this point how much pain you have inflicted on yourself. You bought this. Wherever you are at this point in your life, you bought this. This is what you wanted. And you don't remember how many times you spoke it out over and over again out into creation. And yet you're living it right now and it does not satisfy you. And you're the only one to be accountable for it. And yet it's too deep. It's a lot of pain. It's heavy for one person to be accountable for. And it's true. Because you're not just one person. You are a soul that has existed for billions and billions of years. And you have deprived yourself. You have suppressed yourself. Your own light, your own magic, your own love, your own truth. And so you're quite angry with yourself. And up to this moment, realizing it truly for yourself that you are angry with yourself. You've been blaming God the entire time. Because somebody had to be to blame, right? Someone was responsible. And yet you couldn't even see what you were doing to yourself, so you blamed God. And of course, being your mother, she accepts all responsibility and accountability of everything, regardless if she actually did it or not. Because that's how much love she is. It doesn't matter to her. She just loves you. And she forgives you for everything. You see, the part that gets stuck is when God's forgiveness is given, and then now it's humanity's turn. And humanity can't seem to forgive themselves for what they have done, what they chose, how far we've come and where we have ended up at. Humanity doesn't want to forgive because they don't want to accept, because they're scared to admit that that truly is them. And of course, all their life they have wanted, they have dreamt, they have fantasized about being something better or grander, yet they didn't push for it. They didn't reach for it. So of course, in the moment of accountability comes and you realize the detriment that you have caused to yourself, the amount of pain and suffering, you can't accept it. You can't bear it. Because you'll justify to yourself your whole life you've been trying to find a way. You've been trying to heal. You've been trying to figure out how to love yourself. You'll say that. You'll justify and validate all the different places and things you did. Yet if you looked at your whole life in a snapshot, have you found it yet? No. So it doesn't matter what you have done at this point, honestly. You have to turn around. And you have to go a different way. Because it's not working out for you, and it never will. Accept how stubborn and in control and resistant you have been in your life. Let it go. Drop it. And relax yourself and tell yourself it's okay. You just have to turn around and just start walking in that direction back to love. That's all you've got. You've got to pull yourself together. Got to snap out of it. And you got to tell yourself, Mama God's got me. No matter what. In your higher self is going to smack you around a little bit and wake you up. It's just like, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do it all day, all year. No, we're putting a stop on this, a court, and we're going to completely do a 3 or 180. Yeah, we're not going back further. We're 180, not 360.
I let this happen, you know. The new sports car, the getting in shape, the blonde hair, the lies.
Yes, he attempts to relive the past.
Now I'm losing him. Oh, what do I do? What do I do?
What are you talking about?
You are Elastigirl! My God, pull yourself together! What will you do? Is this a question? You will show him you remember that he is Mr. Incredible, and you will remind him who you are. Well, you know where he is. Go, confront the problem. Fight. Win!
And call me when you get back, darling. I enjoy our visits.
I love Edna. The Incredibles is pretty cool. It's a pretty funny movie, but Edna, she definitely had an awesome emulation of the higher self, of what it looks like, just coming in there and just like, like sitting there and listening to you, like, yeah, just be, pity you, sorry, victim conscious, yep. Then it's like, you know what, higher self, we're not going to do this all day. It's like start slapping around, like you gotta wake up, and then just like giving you that stone cold, like just pure truth, like to your face, to the core, to the T, exactly what you need to hear, exactly what you need to do to make it all work out. And you need to go face it, face the problem, stare in the face, tell it who you are. Get your empowerment back, your confidence, your motivation. Who are you? You know, you gotta figure it out because it's nothing small. Every single soul on this planet is a divine being and is a part of God. And nothing in that is small at all. None of it is small potatoes. It's all big. I don't know why. I guess I'll just like throw it out there. There was a question or comment in there. Hi everybody, I love you all. Thank you for commenting. There was a question there about psychology or something. I don't know where it's at. I can't find it now. But no, nobody here really has degrees. There's a couple of people that were like in law school and stuff and have been lawyers and everything. I went to college for 6 months. That's it. And then I decided it was all full of bullshit. So, yeah, don't need degrees. You know, we have lived with God, you know, for many years, and through that training and understanding a whole lot of stuff, I can't even begin to explain to you, you know, what that experience is like, you know. But yeah, as big as you can imagine, existing with God for a couple of years, what that would do to you, how that would change you, and yeah, everything is directly channeled. It's, you know, Mom, it's the angels. Most of the time, I don't even know half the shit I'm talking about. And I'll tell you right now, I'll watch some of my streams back, and I am blown away with the things that I say out of my mouth sometimes, because I had absolutely no idea. I didn't have that awareness. I didn't realize that. And then, like, you know, as I'm sharing, you know, it's part of, you know, the contract, you know, sharing and giving, of course, higher and more light will come through. So, I mean, even things that I have not even learned yet, you know, come through during sessions or live streams and stuff. And that's just all present moment awareness, you know, and that's present moment. That is the most evolved point in human reality existence to this moment, aware of things out on this planet. So it's very, very different from reading some book that was written years and years ago, or something that's been just copied and duplicated over and gone to, you know, school for and everything. No, we're talking about real stuff right here, right now. Where is it at? You know, we're not trying to learn history of anything right now. We're trying to get so present here, what's going on right now versus where everyone else is at. Was the, you know, past, which doesn't exist. You know, all these different things from ancient times and stuff they're trying to use to navigate forward is completely retarded. Completely retarded. Okay. I had a grand pleasure on mission today, and there was we went to I don't know. Okay. I went to a tax service center. Thank you. I went to a tax service center, and there was a 90-year-old man there, and I had to file some form or paperwork, whatever. So he was the person that did my paperwork, and the guy actually turned out to be a retired Catholic priest. It was very interesting talking with him, and you know, he was just fascinated that there were, you know, younger people, you know, and he was curious, you know, like how many people were in the family and stuff, and because we had already gotten talking about that, and you know, and it was really fascinating watching, you know, this very old guy get so happy over that there's young people that are awake, that are aware of these things, that are talking about these things, are not just like getting drunk and on drugs and just like passing out every night. They're actually doing something. He was so over the moon. He was completely ecstatic. He was just, his like child self came fully through. He was smiling and happy, and he just wanted to talk more about it. And I threw a question at him because there was a moment where I didn't know if it was highest exactly, because this stuff usually spins people out, right? And the angels like, go for it, right? So like he was moving something around the desk, and I was like, so what about mother? And he was like, he said, mother. But as he said the word mother, I literally saw his higher self drop down in his body. It was freaking cool. And he's just like, mother. And like at the end of that word, he slowed, and he was feeling something. And I was like, yeah, mother. And because we were talking about death, and probably because he was like, in the 90s, he's close to that point where they think they're going to die. So that's among, his thoughts. He had a lot of questions about death and the other side and what was going to happen and all that, and what were my thoughts on it. And I just completely just blew him away. He just was it was bizarre. The responses I had that he absolutely had never heard of before, had never, you realize at some point, like after no one's ever asked certain questions, you've never heard certain things before, and the moment you do, it snaps and connects so many things that you have thought, and that you have experienced, that you have wondered in your entire life, and all just zooms into that one moment. And that is what I saw. And it was so magical and beautiful, where he just like lit up and like came alive, and he just kept throwing questions. And I was like, well, we're born from the mother, so that's where we're going back to, right? To her. And he was like, her, and like he was getting what I was implying, but then he was like getting this like mischievous, like squinty eye look at me. He was like he was at work too, so I imagine he was still trying to be professional. I didn't want to offend anyone, so he was trying to track where I was at to see what he could actually say. It was a fun like chess game to play with this older guy, and he was a joy. And so I was like, yeah, and he was talking about, angels, heart me, please. Oh yeah, so we were talking about, because I was like, well, what about Mother God? And he was like, that's a very interesting view you have there. But he was like smiling really big, so he like had things that were coming up. And I was like, and then he started talking about the Godhead. He was like, because he's a Catholic priest, retired, so he's very Bible structured, very in that. And but he was very detached in a lot of moments from it, which was really awesome to see someone who had gone that deep in that religion to be at the point now where they're very open to a lot of things because of what they've seen and what they've experienced. So he started talking about the Godhead, and he was like, well, the Godhead's like, it's three, heads in one. And he was like, God the Father, the Son, and I was like, and the Holy Spirit. And he looked at me, and I was like, the Mother God? He was like, that would make a lot of sense. And I was like, so, and then just, this is a little bit off topic, but I really want to tell this story. So I basically, I took him kind of like through like a quick summary real quick about like, just like back in those moments, anything, and even now at this point, when you write something, when you document something, it is written in that moment where your consciousness and your energy is in that moment. It's like a timestamp, like a picture. It captures everything in that moment. Those words were written in this moment while you were in this energy and this consciousness and these thoughts. So when we look at things from so far ago, and we understand that the world has been coming out of a very male patriarchal rule, that has effects on the consciousness, the word choice, the perspective, even, of all the consciousnesses on the planet in that moment, at that time. So if everyone is under enslavement, domination, kingship, rulership, masculine patriarchy, all these different things, then wouldn't that kind of be the overall theme of the energy encapsulated in those words that are giving birth to those very words? Yet these are what people reference right now, in this moment of their time. And they're like, yes, the way forward is clear. This is navigation. We've got it. However, at this point, it's like, are we in that same moment? Do we live as that? Are we existing in that same paradigm and consciousness? No. Clearly, we've evolved. We like to talk about it every day. Technology and how much we can do now. Yet, for whatever reason, we want to go back to mundane bullshit that's completely so outdated. Yet these are codes. Why? Because people were more open with their mouth back then. They said more bigger things back then that people are way too scared to say now. Oh, are we stepping on toes right now? So anyway, story. I'm just like getting really passionate with that whole part. Story. So we were talking about story time. I like watching that guy on I think it's like Snapchat or something like that. He's like story time, and he always has something funny to like do afterwards. I love it. So with the guy, he was talking about the Bible and everything. So I was like, well, looking at the Bible now, where we are in this consciousness and this open and vulnerable with the whole thing, we can clearly see where a lot of this is dictated, even the scriptures that are shared. The truth that was said in this context and this energy and these low frequencies with this trajectory of that timeline in their mind and their focus when they wrote it. Not even seeing this, not even being aware of where we are right now. They have no idea. They had no idea, could not see it. Yet that, which is completely something off, is being used for now for something we actually are walking into. Does that kind of make anyone like scratch their face a little bit? It's a little awkward. It's off. Why? It's dumb. It's retarded. Who did that? Who started this? Who even brought this up? Right? So let's get this all cleaned out the way and just really focus on what matters now is really about getting our empowerment back. Standing up as individuals united together. As beings of the light, as masters incarnate, royal angels, aspects of God in physical flesh. Those are big potatoes, people. Everything I just said is a big potato. If you don't think it's a big potato, you might want to rewind and listen to it a couple times because they're very big potatoes. Okay? We have to learn to stand up for ourselves, and we have to realize, we don't have to play this stupid game anymore. We don't have to play pretend with the oppressors anymore. We can completely get transparent and clear. And everyone's been quite fed up and is quite done in realizing the truth so far to this point. And we haven't even seen nothing yet, humanity. We haven't really disclosed anything yet, but humanity's already done. Humanity is already sick to their stomach and nauseous over what's being shown and what they are finding out now in these moments, and a lot of them already knew it was coming to this point. So what do we do now? It's the big question.
There was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant.
One ant. Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss. They're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
Well, how about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Gotta stand up, humanity. Gotta take your power back. Gotta realize, you already know what's been going on. You're already seeing it. And it's kind of like, there's kind of like the part where we play dumb with ourselves and how we know how this is gonna end. We know what it's gonna come to. And yet, so we're kind of like leaning back and we're kind of just like watching from the background, like literally like a movie. We're literally so just out of it, literally disassociating so much. We're just gonna lean back and watch this ride really come to a crash. Is that what you're doing? Are you just waiting for the crash? Have you given up so much? Have you just completely just exhausted yourself and don't want to try anymore to the point where you're just waiting for the crash? You're waiting for the plane to drop out the sky. So you're just going to have a ride of your life till that happens. You're just going to ride it out. Just going to see how far you get. It's going to make all the stupid choices you can now before it's too late. And what's too late? Oh, is that the end for you? Because you really just want to go? Because you don't want to be here? Because of why? Because you gave up? Because of why? You really are so pissed off and upset with yourself over your life and where you are and what your choices have brought you to the point where you just don't even want to be here anymore. Ooh, I know I'm digging in somebody's heart today. Just let it go. Accept it. Be okay with it. This is me. I have allowed this. I did this to myself. I chose this. The sooner you can accept that, the quicker it can change. The quicker it can start to ascend into a new meaning and idea and realization. Or you can hold on to it. Hold it back, attach to it, and not let it grow into something better that maybe won't cause you pain. It's the truth. You know, we got to be so real with yourself, you know, to what you're hiding from yourself. What have I been lying to myself about? What have I been just kind of like numbing myself to the point where I just don't even want to look at it anymore? But it's still there. It's still happening, still exists, still in your life. It's not going anywhere. You know, and, you know, it is you. It always has been you. God put you here for a reason, because it's always been you, to make the change, to make the choice, to turn it all around, to see the depth in those ways, and do something better instead. That is the God in you, that is in all of you. And yet that's what everyone keeps walking around the bush, not wanting to choose, not want to raise their hand. Like, nope, not raising my hand for this one. It's like, too late. You're already here. You're already breathing. Your heart's beating. Too bad. You raised your hand billions of years ago. It is way too late to go back and change that now. You're at the end of your contract. So time's up. It's time to pay up and be everything that's written there, because it's everything you've lived in, that you have become, that you've endured through, everything that you changed. And because you existed in all those moments, all those billions and billions of years, because you exist, and because you existed in those moments, and especially now, in this moment, everything can change. Because you're here. You have to realize the power in this and realize how much weight you really carry. It is a lot. And it's why you're suffering, because you're not doing anything with it. It's time to stand up and live for the truth.
You piece of dirt. No, I'm wrong. You're lower than dirt. You're an ant. Let this be a lesson to all you ants. Ideas are very dangerous things.
You are mindless, soil-shoving losers. Put on this earth to serve us.
You're wrong, Hopper. Ants are not meant to serve grasshoppers. I've seen these ants do great things. And year after year, they somehow manage to pick food for themselves and you. So who is the weaker species? Ants don't serve grasshoppers. It's you who need us. We're a lot stronger than you say we are. And you know it. Don't you?
Well, princess.
Hopper, I hate to interrupt, but,
You ants stay back!
You know it, don't you? You know we are the greater majority on this planet. You know that the smallest minority on this planet controlling the world is very small. Even smaller in these moments than has been over the last year or so. You know this. You know everyone is tired of pain and suffering. You know your life has not brought you the fruits that you have aspired your whole life to find. You know. You haven't found the truth, or the answer, or the healing, or the true love. You know. So with this awareness now, what are you going to do about it, humanity? How are we going to change this? Are you going to stand up and speak up and use your voice? Are you going to choose you? Are you going to show up for yourself and decide you matter? Decide that what you bring to the table is so big, you can't sit back. You can't let go of the truth. Because the whole reason why you're here is to give birth to an idea that does not exist yet in the world. It's why you're here. And so if it is your charge, your responsibility and accountability to co-create with God herself and bring something into this life that has never existed before, something brand new, then for you to sit back and not value yourself, for you to sit back and not co-create with God, live, be grand, you are utter contradiction to everything in your own nature. Everything, every reason, every purpose, every meaning of why you exist. You are a hypocrite to your own nature, which is why you are suffering, which is why you're not happy, which is why you are still seeking. So this, truly, this is the core of a lot of things where we have to find ourselves. We have to keep pushing and trusting in God that we will arrive to a higher idea, but we cannot hold on and attach to things. We have to let go so we can reach them. And truly the jump, the distance, the leap in that with faith, that truly is going to be your relationship with God. Your trust in God and your angels and how much you have worked with yourself to understand that relationship with God. That is already there because you are her child. A mother will never abandon her child. So, ding, it's there. So it's really the work you've done with yourself and understanding this process and figuring it out and coming around to the point of realizing how special you are and why you need to exist, why you need to be here, why you need to speak up, why you need to share, why you need to be here, now, in this life, in your body, who you are. It is necessary. You have meaning, every single one of you, and you have to accept this. Because ultimately the lack of accepting this is the reason why you are so awful, love. And you can be happier. You can really forgive yourself and these things that are not true. They're lies. And you can learn. You can learn. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how far you've gone off the path. It doesn't matter what you've become, what you've turned yourself into. You can learn a better way to love. You can learn a better way to love yourself. You can learn a better meaning of life, certainly, that will lead you to a higher path and higher existence and a way of healing where it does not make you carry these burdens as a martyr, because you are not martyrs. God did not give you burdens, you gave them to yourself. And she wishes you to be free and light and fly and be love. But there's a lot of weight we have to drop first. In order to drop it, you have to accept that you're even carrying it in the first place. That is the trip. the transition, the process, the path to truly letting go and forgiving yourself for carrying it even in the first place. For making your trip, your journey heavier when you didn't need to, but you did. And we are here now. So let that go. Let it all go. And let yourself feel lighter on this path back home to heaven, to God, to your higher self, to love, to 5D New Earth, where everybody is going. And let that be your focus for the day, for every moment, for the whole rest of the demeanor of your life. Let that be your reason for waking up every morning, for living, for pushing forward, for recreating yourself and expanding beyond your limits and boundaries, for becoming something grander and greater than you've ever been in your life. Let that be the reason why you wake up every morning, and see how much you change. See how much you feel better. And how much of your life finally comes into alignment and flow with Mother God's creation and her blueprint. Because you've allowed it, because you've accepted it, because you've stepped out of the way and let it through. And it will change everything. I love you all so very much. And I pray that you definitely slow down and allow yourself these beautiful moments. Allow yourself these beautiful moments to reflect and feel yourself. Don't abandon yourself. Don't let yourself go astray. Don't disconnect, disassociate. Don't distract and go into escapism. Sit with yourselves today and feel into these questions, these deeper ponderings that everybody is, even God. It's why she never sat there and did nothing. She evolved. God herself evolved so many times. Do you understand how profound that is? That God herself even went through her own evolutions. So God is not a destination. She's constantly creating herself. Meaning you have a long ways to go. And you'll never catch up to God. Especially if she keeps evolving at this point. It means we have truly an eternity to see what it all is. I love you all. Please take care of yourselves. Ground, drink water, ceremonies, and move slower. Move slower with yourselves and allow yourselves those gifts of peaceful reflection. You'll be very grateful for it later. Take care of yourselves, humanity.